Welcome to Astronomy 220. I'm Dr. John Golben. If you haven't already, you can check out my introduction here from the Start Here page. And if we go back, if you made this far to the Start Here page, you've already done great things because you've found your way into the course and into the Start Here page to the course overview, to these orientation videos. So great job. You probably have checked out this Welcome Astronomy page, which tells you some of the things that you need to do right off the bat here. One is to check out these videos. The other is to look at the frequently asked questions, because many of those questions will be very helpful for you getting started in this course. Things like how can you save money on the book and what browser you should be using. You also might want to check out the Technical Setup folder, which is under the Content tab, because it will help you set up the quizzes, and there's a fun practice quiz in the quiz subfolder there as well that you need to take in the first week. What you will select often is the Discussions tab, so that you can see the current discussions going on with the class, and the Daily Schedule tab. The Daily Schedule will tell you what you need to be doing every week of this course and when your quiz due dates are. Pretty much all your content for the course will be under the Content tab. So that will be your video lectures, your question sets, your quizzes, and your labs for every chapter will be under the Content tab. So you're going to want to go there. Right now, though, we want to look at the syllabi. So let's go back to the Start Here dashboard and look at the syllabi. We're going to select Course Syllabus for now. Welcome to Astronomy at Calhoun Community College. I'm Dr. John Golben. I'll be your instructor for this course. My office is on the 3rd floor of the Math Science and Administration building on the Decatur campus. So if you go to the 3rd floor, go to the south end of that hallway. That's the Natural Sciences offices, and I'm in there at 370C. My email address is given here as john.golben@calhoun.edu. I would prefer that you contact me through the messages function in Blackboard, just so that we can keep everything within the course itself, and then I can't lose any kind of history of our correspondence. This is Astronomy, 4 credits with lab online. No prerequisite is required. This course covers the history of astronomy and its development of astronomical thought, leading to the birth of modern astronomy and its most recent developments. Emphasis is placed on the coverage of astronomical measuring science, the solar system, important galactic objects, and cosmology. As we said, no prerequisite knowledge of astronomy is required for this course. It's a general survey course of astronomy. Objectives: at the successful completion of this course, the student will be able to describe astronomical methods and instrumentation, describe the major objects in the solar system, describe the major objects in the universe, define terminology used in astronomy, identify the major contributors in astronomy over the years. Our book for this course will be Astronomy, the 8th edition by Jason McMillan. The 7th, 6th, or 5th editions are acceptable as well. And if you check out the frequently asked questions, there's one on the book there that will help you purchase the 5th edition on Amazon for as little as $3 or $4. You may also wish to purchase the Introduction to Astronomy binder that's available in the Calhoun bookstores. In that binder has all my lecture notes and the study questions for this course. You can get those same resources right here on Blackboard for free by downloading the PDF files for the notes and the study questions. Sometimes it's nice to have it already bound for you, but it's also nice to get things free. You may also wish to check out the Brewer Library link here and the Student Resources and Services link here. Our methods for this course are TechSmith Relay or Office Mix videos. And if those don't happen to work on any particular day, there are optional YouTube videos of the same lectures, and those should be available at any time from any computer. So that will be your backup in case the first line videos don't work. The study questions are to be answered by using the lectures and the notes that will answer most of the study questions. You may also read the book, which will have almost all the answers to all the questions, especially the more obscure questions. You may start a discussion with the class to figure out what the answer to a particularly hard question might be, or you may do an internet search. All those options are at your disposal to find the answers to the study question, because that's your main goal in your work in this course. I will not give you the answers to the study questions because that will circumvent the idea that you need to be working to find these questions. You need to be researching these questions. There are also interactive and illustrative online labs, and hopefully this will help you appreciate some of the aspects of astronomy. And we have online resources and links to additional information on astronomy that might enhance your appreciation of the subject of astronomy as well. Please also refer to the technical setup folder in the content tab. In there will be a quiz subfolder, which will help you establish how to take the quizzes, and also in there will be a fun quiz that you need to take during the first week of this course. You can take that fun quiz as many times as you wish, just for practice on how to take the quizzes. Grading. There will be 11 chapter quizzes with the final, and this will consist of 80% of your final grade. So approximately each quiz is 8% of your final grade. There will be 9 labs with the Moon project, which will consist of 20% of your final grade. If you drop your lowest lab, you will have about 2.5% per lab. You cannot drop the Moon project, however. That is something that will be required for the course. My Grades in Blackboard will maintain a running percentage of these two components in the course grade, allowing the student to see a current accounting of his or her standing in the course at all times. Grade scale is what you're used to. 90 to 100% is an A, 80 to 89% is a B, 70 to 79% is a C, and so forth and so on. There are rubrics for grading, in particular for the quizzes. The questions for the quizzes will come from your study questions for that chapter. The chapter quizzes will consist of the following types of questions: multiple choice, true, false, fill in the blank. Now on the quizzes, the fill in the blank questions will actually be in the form of multiple choice with 5 possible answers given as your choices, and essay questions. The chapter quizzes will be graded on a scale of 500 points. There will be 45 questions containing the first 3 types of questions with 10 points per question, totaling 450 possible points. The final 50 points of the quiz will be 2 essay questions. The essay questions will be chosen from a pool of questions that were on your study guide, and usually the study guide will have 5 to 10 essay questions for that chapter, and I will choose 2 of those for the quiz. So you can actually work out your answers beforehand. Each essay question will be worth 25 points on the quiz. The essay questions will be personally graded by me, the instructor, using the following additional rubric: completeness in addressing the question, accuracy for what is being stated, focusing on the question and not extraneous matters, the English, including spelling, grammar, and your paragraph formation, and originality. If the answer matches a canned answer from the internet or an answer key, the answer will lose points. I want to see your original writing on these essay questions. The chapter quiz will not be considered complete until it's been graded by the instructor, mainly the essay questions, usually within 48 hours of the due date. Students may request an additional explanation as to how their quiz was scored, and in particular, how their essay questions were scored. Students are given 40 minutes to complete the chapter quiz. The lowest quiz will be dropped at the end of the semester. The final is considered on an equal basis with the chapter quizzes, even though the final itself is 50 multiple choice questions, and may be considered as the lowest quiz that could be dropped. So if you're happy with your grade going into the final, you can choose to just drop the final as your dropped quiz. Here's the additional rubric for the labs. Officially, there are 9 labs assigned for the semester, corresponding to the first 9 chapters of the course. Each lab has its own unique instructions, which will guide the student through the most important subject matter. So the student will wish to read those instructions, complete the lab, and when they feel comfortable, then take the quiz. After completing the lab, the student will then take the lab quiz. The quiz will be 10 multiple choice questions with 10 points per question, totaling 100 possible points. The lab quiz will cover the important subject matter of the lab. The student is allowed to have all of the lab materials in front of him or her while he or she is taking the quiz. Students are given 20 minutes to complete the laboratory quiz. This is enough time for a student that has already completed the lab, but not enough time for a student to attempt to complete the lab while they are taking the quiz. The lab quiz is immediately computer graded and students can see which answers are correct or incorrect. The student is allowed to drop their lowest lab quiz score, except for the Moon project, which is 2 labs and it's not actually a quiz itself. That Moon project is labs 5 and 6, and it's described in the lab folder for chapter 5. The Moon project is an activity in which the student will take data from 12 separate observations of the Moon over the course of the semester, 10 observations over the summer semester. The project will be due by 5 p.m. on the last day of the regular semester, not the finals week, but the regular semester. The project will be graded by the instructor, me, within 48 hours of this due date. The project will be graded on completeness of the data, accuracy of the data, and the adherence to the Moon project instructions, which are in the video in that chapter 5 lab folder. So you cannot make up the data based on internet searches and complete that project. You have to do the observations yourself and adhere to the Moon project instructions that are on the video in chapter 5. There's no lab quiz for the project. Since the project is worth 2 labs, it cannot be designated as the lowest lab quiz score. Attendance. Attendance in this distance education course will be recorded within the first week of the course by the student completing the assessment fun quiz found in the quizzes subfolder of the technical setup, which is on the Start Here page. After the first week, the student's attendance record will be based on the student being active in the course, such as observing lecture videos, completing labs, completing quizzes, or being involved in messages or discussions. These activities are monitored automatically. If a student does not meet attendance requirements as stated in the course syllabus, the student is encouraged to officially withdraw from the course. Late work. Each chapter is due to be completed by the deadline date outlined in the daily schedule available on the daily schedule tab. All work, lecture, and lab quizzes for each chapter should be completed by the deadline date outlined on the daily schedule. There are no makeup quizzes for the chapter and lab quizzes except for extreme and tragic circumstances. Students under these extreme and tragic circumstances should contact the instructor as soon as possible to outline a course of action for makeup. Since students are allowed to drop their lowest lecture and lab quizzes, which includes the final, there remains sufficient recourse for a student to rebound from an unexpected missed quiz. In some semesters, an extra quiz on an additional chapter may also be offered as yet another way to replace an earlier missed lecture quiz. Communication. Our preferred communication in this astronomy course will be through the messages function within the course. When you log into the course, this tab will be near the top on the left-hand side. Files such as PDF or JPG picture files can be attached and sent using messages. For topics of general interest to the course, students are encouraged to communicate through the discussions function within the course. This way all can benefit from the ensuing discussion. High discussion activity by a particular student will earn extra credit consideration. For all forms of communication within the course, students are required to be respectful of others, especially with electronic communication, where students are devoid of visual aids and inflection in communication. It is essential to be mindful of the language that is used. Students should be aware of and be particularly sensitive to cultural differences. All written communication should use proper spelling and grammar. This is also part of the grading rubric for the essay questions outlined above. The instructor, me, can always be contacted via any email account to his Calhoun email address, john.golben@calhoun.edu, although the messages function is preferred. Final exam. This is a generic syllabus, so the final exam will be on your particular syllabus for that semester, to be completed by the last day indicated on the daily schedule in that syllabus. The moon project will be due by 5 p.m. on the very last day of the regular semester. Here's a daily schedule for a regular semester, and every third class or so there is a lab and lecture quiz due, so please take note of that on your daily schedule. This is sort of set up like it would be in a brick and mortar class where you would meet twice a week, but you don't actually have to do the work on these particular days. You can do the work at any time, day and night, working on this course. The only thing you have to take note of in particular is these due dates for the lecture and lab quizzes. So if you get it done by midnight on those due dates, then you are keeping pace with the course. Now for a regular semester, that would be about every third day, either a Tuesday or a Thursday. For a summer semester, that will be Sunday night by midnight on Sunday night. So that will be your progression through the course. I'll keep you on a steady progression through the material of the course so that you don't get behind. You can always work ahead. You just can't work behind on this schedule. Let's return to the Start Here dashboard and see what else might be here. We just looked at the course overview and the syllabi, and the course objectives are something we talked about in the syllabus. You may wish to check out the student and instructor expectations. Other things here are the communication policy, treat everybody with respect in all your communication on this course. Student resources, if you have trouble with Blackboard, you might want to take this Blackboard student orientation. And finally, you want to get into the content of this course. This is where most of your resources are going to be for this course in this content tab. One thing you'll be referring to often, even in this content tab, would be the daily schedule, and I have it redundant here in the content tab and then on tab on the left here. If we click on the daily schedule, this is a schedule of the course laid out for you in sort of in the way that a brick and mortar class would be laid out. We would have 2 lectures a week, meet, have a lecture and do some work. And so if this were a Tuesday, Thursday class, these would be your lectures for those days. And this would be in the content chapters for these lectures, for these lecture videos. You can actually watch these lectures at any time you wish. It doesn't have to be on Tuesday, it doesn't have to be on Thursday, it doesn't have to be at 8 a.m., it doesn't have to be, it could be any time. It could be 3 a.m. in the morning. You can do this work at any time during the week. The only thing you have to take note of for a deadline is the due dates for the quizzes. Those have to be completed by midnight on their particular due dates. So the first quiz in this particular semester, for the first quiz and lab quiz, would have to be due by the next Tuesday. So the setup here for a regular semester is that you would have 2 lectures, and then the third one would be your quiz night. So every 3 lectures will cover a chapter in this course. If this were the summer semester, you would actually conduct all this material every week, and your quizzes would be taken by midnight on Sunday night. But in a regular semester, it's every 3rd lecture, so it's either going to be a Tuesday or Thursday night that you take a quiz. If you proceed through the course, You'll have a quiz for every chapter, and then finally you'll take the final, which will just be another quiz, and you're allowed to drop your lowest quiz, including the final, over the course of this semester. So that's the daily schedule. All your content is in the Content tab. If we look at that, we'll check out this technical setup. You go in there under quizzes, you see how to set up the quizzes, and then you want to take this fun practice quiz before the end of your first week. So that should get you started.